All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to QuickBooks Desktop and of course the invoice portion of this video. Now, today we're going to be looking at what came over from Housecall into our QuickBooks. Now, do keep in mind, because we can't have a QuickBooks Online account and a QuickBooks Desktop account tied to the same Housecall or tied to the same account, there may be slight differences just based on it coming from a different Housecall account into this QuickBooks. Now, something to keep in mind here: when these invoices come over, they're going to come over just exactly the way that they were over in Housecall Pro. What does that mean? Well, we have our first line item here, just that regular old line item that is exactly the same as what we have in our price book. Nothing has changed. But at the same time, you may remember over in Housecall, we made some alterations to that second line item, right? We chose the same item from our price book, but made some changes. We changed the description name, we changed the rate, we changed the quantity. As you can see, all of those changes, they are reflected over here in our QuickBooks. Big picture takeaway, kind of if we pull back, the thing I want you to keep in mind is that Housecall is always going to make QuickBooks match Housecall. So whatever we have on that Housecall invoice, that's what we're going to end up with over here in our QuickBooks file once we've hit, of course, that finish invoice or pay button to trigger the information to come over to QuickBooks. Now, I will be talking a little bit more about the specifics of the web connector in a later video, so do keep an eye out for that. But for the moment, just do keep in mind that finish invoice and pay inside of Housecall Pro. That's what's going to trigger Housecall Pro to start sending information over to, or to get information ready, I should say, to come over into QuickBooks. Then, of course, on this last line item, we do see that we had marked it taxed inside of Housecall as opposed to these other two, which were non-taxed. That, of course, coming over into our QuickBooks to give us our tax and our invoice total. Now, we did apply a payment to this over in Housecall. So of course, the balance due on this particular invoice is zero, but you can see that that original total, of course, is unchanged. And without this payment, it would be sitting here open. So with that, I'm going to wrap up our invoices, since you can see, of course, that information coming over from Housecall, very, very straightforward, and pick up with our payments, talk a little bit more about what comes from Housecall and how we're going to address our deposits.